Welcome to the Retirement Blueprint Show. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, and I'm joined today by Tim Lofton, and Tim is the CEO of the Retire Blueprint. Tim, how are you today?
Great, Cynthia. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to see you, and I look forward to our shows so much because the viewing audience is obviously loving all of the messages that you're providing about how to retire comfortably and with confidence. And again, always talking about the retirement blueprint that we've put in place, or that you have. I'm just along for the ride with you. It's your blueprint. Oh, so let me ask you a question. Life has been very busy for you. Let's talk a little bit about what your daily life is like in the office.
Well, you know, things have definitely changed a little bit with COVID, but also have I think become even better in some areas. We're still having in-person meetings, and that's not been an issue. But what I have found is that people have gotten really good with those Zoom video meetings.
Yes.
And so, you know, before, you know, we've been using Zoom for a long time, but one of the things that we found with COVID is now it's just almost a mainstream thing. Like, everybody has done a video conferencing call now, and so that's become a really great tool for people that are maybe at risk or don't want to come into the office, or they want to do a review but they don't necessarily want to get out. And so that's been kind of a really interesting adjustment that we've seen really become a popular option, where a lot of times it felt before like we were, you know, forcing people into something to try, and now they're asking us about it. So.
Absolutely, that makes sense. And I know it's been a different way of, you know, doing business, of course, and meeting people over Zoom and what have you, but you're always very adaptable. I remember one time you and I were on the Zoom together, and I think the Amazon driver came to the door, and it was like mass chaos, but it was fun. You held it together very well.
Yes, thank you. Yes, we had two new puppies at the time, and they were running around crazy, and one ran out the door, and you were kind of just welcome to my house.
That's okay, because as I was talking to you, my little Chihuahua Paco was on my lap and kept making an appearance from time to time. It's all part of it. It's all part of the fun.
It is, and I think people enjoy that. You know, we're real people. You know, I have 3 kids and a wife and a mortgage, and, you know, I go to work like everybody else. It's just, you know, my job is I help others, and I hope that people, you know, find comfort in the way that we treat them, and when they come into the office. You know, we're just regular people. We're just really good at what we do, and we do it in a way that we think is beneficial to helping people navigate retirement, because it is a confusing thing in so many different areas.
Absolutely. And Tim, in case someone is just watching the show for the very first time today, let's talk a little bit about where your passion comes from for helping others with retirement.
My passion really started as a kid. I remember I was probably 11 years old the first time I actually discovered what not having money felt like, and it made an impact on me in a way that really kind of helped propel me in a direction of really wanting to help others, help them to learn how to save, but more importantly, once they had saved, make the most of what they have accumulated. You know, saving isn't an easy thing. I mean, for our viewers at home, I think you can appreciate that you're giving up stuff. I mean, you're choosing to not do things so that you have extra money to put away for that rainy day. And that rainy day, a lot of times for people, is 20 and 30 years off. It takes discipline to do that, and I think that discipline should be rewarded by good advice.
Absolutely. Tim, let's talk a little bit about the importance of Social Security strategies in retirement. I know we're going to dive into that with our show today, but before we go to the commercial break in about 5 minutes, I just want to talk to you about how important that is for proper retirement planning.
Well, and I think we can come back to this after break, but you know, I said on the show last week, I think I had said that there was like 531 different claiming strategies, and I actually researched it on the IRS site. There's actually 500 567.
Oh my gosh.
567 ways to claim Social Security. And the other thing that I discovered just through statistical analysis, only 20% of folks have actually done any type of planning to maximize their Social Security.
Wow.
Which means 80% are just kind of winging it.
Well, Tim, I would say most people aren't aware that there are so many different strategies, because so often we've heard that people get advice at the water cooler, if you will, from their friend. Well, you should take it early because it's going away. Are you hearing that a lot, that people are coming in and saying that they're hearing that same thing?
I think that is definitely something that comes up a lot, where people are afraid, through maybe a political belief or just their general disdain for the government, maybe, that somehow it's just going to go bankrupt. And in all fairness to our viewers, if you go on, you can actually, if you don't know what your Social Security is going to look like, it's really easy. You can actually Google my Social Security benefit, and you can actually go onto the Social Security website, create your own account, and you will be able to see exactly what your benefit is estimated to be. And that's a really great tool. It literally takes 3 or 4 minutes for someone to basically create an account, log in, and see their benefit. And if you look on that site, it'll actually say in your little report that by a certain date, they expect that benefit to decrease a certain percentage.
Wow.
And so that's the kind of, I don't think that fear that people have of it going away is unfounded when the people that send out the checks are actually saying it's going to go down.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. When you think about that, Tim, as we look at the country, the national deficit that we have, it only makes sense that something like that would happen, because where are you going to take it from to make up for the deficit, if you will? I know I'm predicting out there, but that's kind of what I'm thinking.
You're exactly right.
Absolutely. And then I've also heard that it's very important to check how accurate the information is on the Social Security website, because they might not have your accurate work history. Is that true as well?
That is true. That doesn't happen as much as some other issues, but there is definitely things that, it's, if you think about, it's one of the largest government benefits that exist. And so the opportunity for error, like with taxes, is enormous. And so it's your responsibility to make sure that the information that they have on that site is up to date, accurate, and really truly reflects what your work history is and what your benefits are, and that your address is correct, and all of those types of things.
All right. Tim, thank you so much. I think this is the perfect time for us to open up the phone lines to the viewers at home. Would you agree?
Sure.
To the viewers at home, the phone lines are now open. That number to call is 855-684-3485. What Tim is offering you today, to the first 10 callers only, is a complimentary consultation, allowing him to design the retirement blueprint for you. What's in this blueprint will be a guide to get you through all of your retirement years. And again, this is available to the first 10 callers only. He's also adding in the Riskalyze report, and that's another important report that we're going to talk about after the commercial break. But these two wonderful products are going to be available to you, to the first 10 callers only. And all you have to do is pick up the phone and call 855-684-3485. Don't go away. When we come back, we're going to talk more about Social Security and also required minimum distributions. So stay tuned.
As you prepare for, transition into, and navigate retirement, there's one thing you're sure to have: questions. Lots of questions about retirement. Like, when can I retire? Will I run out of money? Who pays for nursing home care? And many, many more.
We use the Beta Blueprint retirement planning software to help answer your questions.
This program takes stacks of documents from every area of your financial life and converts them into one large picture. Just as you would never buy a house without seeing it first, why would you ever retire without being able to visualize it? By being able to see the whole picture, you can then make better decisions about your retirement. First, the blueprint looks at your top goals and concerns. Then, we look at your age and the trigger age decisions you have to make, like when to take Social Security, Medicare, and required minimum distributions. Next, we analyze your fixed income streams and compare that to your retirement lifestyle. For most people, their lifestyle exceeds their income, so we determine which assets to tap to make up the difference. When looking at assets, there are 3 key numbers we want you to know. The first number is the risk score of what you own. Every investor has a risk tolerance, and every investment has a risk score. The risk scale runs from 1 to 99, and the S&P 500 has a score of 78. We use a scientific framework that won the Nobel Prize for economics for its ability to identify true risk tolerance. If you are taking too much risk, when would you want to know? The second number we want to know is the maximum drawdown of what you own. Maximum drawdown is the maximum loss from a market peak to a market trough. The maximum drawdown of the S&P 500 in 2008 was about 51%. What was the maximum drawdown of what you own? And the third number is your annual withdrawal rate percent. If you're taking too much here, you could run out of money. Finally, we look at your insurance and long-term care. Do you have life insurance? If so, what type, and does it expire? We analyze the income reduction from losing a spouse. We want to know if the surviving spouse will be protected. Have you planned for long-term care? Do you know all your health care options? Being able to put all this information in picture format is like watching holistic planning come to life. Your financial picture helps us identify the potential cracks and red flags in your overall retirement plan. Remember, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Discover the power of the picture for your retirement. Learn how to get a blueprint of your life.
And welcome back to the Retirement Blueprint Show. My name is Cynthia DeFazio. I'm joined today by Tim Lofton, and Tim is the CEO of the Retire Blueprint. Tim, a great show that we're having today, obviously talking about Social Security, which so many people have questions about. And I wanted just to jump in a little bit and talk more in depth if we could. I want to go over some more ways to claim if we could, and just talk about some strategies with how they can know what the proper time is to claim.
Sure. Well, you know, as we said before commercial break, 567 different ways that a married couple can claim Social Security.
Wow.
I mean, just the sheer number of different options is almost crippling to making a decision. But, you know, just some of the things that Social Security has offered us is flexibility. I mean, flexibility today, I mean, for example, at 62, if you claim Social Security, you can actually change your mind.
Wow.
You can actually go to Social Security within that first 12 months, pay back the money. And so the scenario is this. We had a client that couldn't find a job. She was 61 years old. Spent a whole year, couldn't find a job, said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and just retire. I'm going to claim my Social Security and, you know, see if I can find something part-time. Well, just after she claimed Social Security, about 2 months in, she ended up landing her dream job. Big paycheck, everything was going to be amazing, and she's like, well, I don't need this now. And so one of the things that we did for her is we told her, pay it back and delay it. And so she still, at this point, has not claimed Social Security 3 years later. Wow. And so, you know, there really is a lot of opportunity here if you know what you're doing to really take advantage of the Social Security system. Another popular way of doing things is, you know, if you look at, in some cases, one person has a much larger Social Security check that's going to happen than maybe the other person. And so one of the things that you can do from a spouse standpoint is a spouse can claim half of their other spouse's Social Security if that's a lot more than maybe what they would have gotten on their own. Or in some cases, the spouse with the larger Social Security can delay taking their Social Security and claim on their spouses. So if you had a husband, for example, that was going to get $3,000 a month and their wife was going to get $2,000 a month, their wife could claim her Social Security, they could claim half of her Social Security and continue to grow his Social Security until age 70. That becomes then a great planning tool in the event that something happens to him. His wife is going to have a lifetime of a larger Social Security check. There's also the opportunity, if you were married for at least 10 years and then divorced, you may be eligible to claim on the Social Security of your ex-spouse. So there's all these great options out there if you know about them. And if, you know what, I'll tell you what we're going to do. This just came to me.
Okay.
We're going, for the people that call today, if you schedule an appointment to come into our office, you have not claimed Social Security at this point, we will do a Social Security analysis for you for free. In addition to the blueprint and the Riskalyze, we'll also do a Social Security claiming strategy.
That is a great idea, Tim, because I know a lot of people in the viewing audience are wondering what is the right time for me to claim. So
absolutely.
That's perfect.
Let's do it.
Okay, I love that. Also, Tim, I have a question.
Okay.
So if you start your benefits, like you said, and they're early, and then you change your mind, do you have a certain period of time to change your mind? What happens there?
Yes, 12 months.
It is exactly 12 months.
It's 12 months.
Okay.
So within that 12 months, you can change your mind. After that, you're pretty much committed, which is, again, one of the reasons why it's so important for our viewers. When you make that decision to claim Social Security, you need to make sure it's the right decision for you and the right timing for you. And without going through a comprehensive retirement planning, you really don't know. That's just one piece of the pie. We have the 5 cornerstones of retirement planning, right? The income plan is certainly number one. That's part of what we're talking about today: Social Security, pension. How much do we need to take maybe from our investments to take withdraw to round out our income? But that's one piece of the pie. We still have to look at the investment plan to support that. We have to look at the taxes and how are we going to plan around the idea of taking withdraws, and where should we take them from, and how should we take them, and when should we take them. Social Security is a whole other lens of taxes that we have to look through, because taxability on Social Security can be pretty significant. You can end up paying taxes up to 85% of your Social Security income. We can actually lose $1 or $2 for every $3 earned if we are still working and claiming Social Security. And those are things that you need to understand and you need to know. It still may be appropriate in some cases, but you need to understand what you're getting into before you make those final decisions.
That makes sense. Tim, thank you so much. I know a lot of people have so many questions. Wanted to also ask you, can you still work if you start taking Social Security benefits?
You can still work, but you're penalized in many cases. There's in some, depending on how early, there's essentially 3 stages to Social Security. There's the early claiming strategy of age 62. Then there's what's called full retirement age, which depends on your birth year. It used to be thought of as 65, but today it could be 66 or 67 before you actually reach full retirement age. And then there's that magic age 70, which is kind of the holy grail of if I can get to that point, because the government gives us an 8% return guarantee from our full retirement age to age 70, and that's a pretty nice guarantee.
Absolutely.
I don't think the banks are paying that right now.
I would agree with you, Tim, 100%. Well, this is the perfect time for us to reopen the phone lines to the viewers at home. Would you agree?
Okay, sure.
To the viewers at home, the phone lines are now open. That number to call is 855-684-3485. When we started the show today, we had 10 spots available. We are now down to just 4 spots. And again, Tim is also offering you the Social Security report so you can make sure that you're taking your benefits at exactly the right time. So by calling in right now, you get a copy of that, but also the retirement blueprint, which Tim is going to design for you. And don't forget the Riskalyze report. And again, we only have a few spots left. All you have to do is pick up the phone and call 855-684-3485. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about RMDs, and so you're not going to want to miss this next segment. Stay tuned.
When was the last time you saw your financial professional? Are you getting the most out of the strategy that was created for you? Although you've done a great job finding someone to help plan for your future, are you 100% sure that you were given the right strategy? We can help answer these questions and more with a complimentary second opinion evaluation. We will take a look at what you have in place and then help determine if you're well positioned to get the most out of your future retirement income. In the event that it is not, we can help by making suggestions and showing you how to get on the right path. You wouldn't get just one opinion when it comes to a major health decision, so why would you treat your most important financial decision with such disregard? Call today for your no-cost, no-obligation second opinion evaluation to see if you're getting the most out of your retirement income plan.
And welcome back to the Retirement Blueprint Show. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, and I'm joined today by Tim Lofton. And Tim is the CEO of the Retire Blueprint. Tim, a great show that we're having today, obviously talking a lot about Social Security. And now I'd love to talk to you a little bit further about RMDs and some of the rules and the changes that surrounded RMDs this year.
Sure. So much like Social Security, not that there's 567 ways to claim it, but RMDs can be just as confusing. And for our viewers at home, if you don't know what an RMD is, it stands for Required Minimum Distribution. And that is the amount of money that you're going to be required to take from your retirement plans. And so, you know, the government, when the IRS designed IRAs, 401ks, 403bs, 457 plans, all these great tax deferred plans, don't forget they were tax deferred. In other words, you're putting the money in today, you're deferring those taxes to a later date. And the good news for you is the government decided when that's going to be. Yeah. So you don't have to figure it out. They have chosen when you have to take that money out. And so it used to be, and when I say used to be, I mean basically a year ago, 70 and a half. And I think that for our viewers at home, that's probably the number that you're familiar with. But the CARES Act happened in 2020. Lots of things happened in 2020, but that was one of them. And the CARES Act basically changed the required minimum distribution age from 70 and a half to 72. Now, the caveat there is that you couldn't already, if you were already taking your required minimum distribution, if you had already reached age 70 and a half before this and were taking money out, you're still going to have to continue to take your required minimum distribution. But for those who had not reached 70 and a half in 2020, you now fall under the new rule of age 72. So that is a really great thing. I guess you get another 18 months of deferral before you're forced to take money out. But one of the things to remember when you're looking at that required minimum distribution is there's a lot of different rules, Cynthia.
Sure, that makes sense. Tim, first of all, I have to ask you, how does someone know when they are 70 and a half? I mean, do they send you a card in the mail like now is the time? I mean, I can't even imagine how they came up with that number.
Well, you know, the government's really smart. They designed a foolproof method for people not missing that required minimum distribution age. They charge you a 50% tax penalty if you don't take the money out.
Oh my.
And so it just kind of works itself out.
Oh my gosh.
Firms are really good wherever you hold your investments. When you start getting to that point for probably 6 to 12 months before it happens, they're sending you letters and emails and reminders that you have to take that money out. I know in our office, our wealth management team actually gets a list every month of people who have still not met the required minimum distribution for the year. And so it just, you know, that's one of those things that really doesn't fall through the cracks. People are very well aware that time is coming and what that dollar amount is. And I'll tell you, Cynthia, for viewers at home, if you're interested, you're not at the required minimum distribution age, but you're curious what your required minimum distribution is going to be, it is really easy to find out. The IRS actually has a website you can go to. If you Google what is my RMD or required minimum distribution, there's actually a calculator that you put in. You can put in whatever age you want. So you're going to put in that future age, the value of your retirement plans, and it'll actually give you a schedule, and you can find out exactly what that required minimum distribution is going to be. So the opportunity for planning from our side, we know that the government has a plan.
Okay.
Okay. They have a plan plan. You get to decide as an investor if you're going to follow their plan or if you're going to make your own plan. Obviously, we encourage people, take control of this. Let us put a plan together for you that's going to put you in charge of what your required minimum distribution looks like, because there's a lot of things that you can do to plan around that can impact your taxes in a big way.
Sure, that makes sense. Tim, let me ask you a question. If you have clients of yours that you're working with currently and they call you and say, I know I'm supposed to take this money, I have to take this money, but I don't need it right now. What advice do you have for them?
Well, one of the popular things that we see our clients doing with the required minimum distribution, I can't even talk today.
I know what you were saying.
The required minimum distribution. So for those people at home, I say that all the time, and I have a hard time getting it out sometimes. The idea of charitable giving, if you're giving to your church or you're giving to a charity, you can actually redirect your required minimum distribution amount to that charity or to your church as a gift and not have to pay taxes on that required minimum distribution. So, for example, if you're normally giving money away out of a checking or savings account, you simply use the money that's coming out as required minimum distribution instead, and that is a big tax benefit. There's lots of ideas like that. All the people have to do is pick up the phone and call Cynthia, set an appointment with us, and those ideas and others that we can take a deep dive into to see if there's anything we can do to help out.
Absolutely. Well, Tim, we only have about a minute and a half left of the show this week. Are there any final tidbits of advice that you want to share to the viewing audience right now with how to retire comfortably and with a plan?
The biggest advice that I can give, the best advice that I can give is take this seriously. You need a plan. Whether it's with us or someone else, you need a plan. And so I would just encourage the viewers at home, let today be the day. Take control today. Pick up the phone, set an appointment. It doesn't cost you anything. And worst case scenario, you meet a great bunch of people and get a free cup of coffee. Come join us in the office for a quick sit down.
All right, the coffee sold me. Well, Tim, thank you so much for another amazing show. I love the fact that you can talk about the plan for retirement and we still have fun while doing it, which I think is just amazing and a huge testimonial to you. So thank you so very much. To the viewers at home, thank you again for spending time with us this week. We know you have a lot of questions about how to retire comfortably and with confidence. Tim has the answers for you. All you have to do is pick up the phone and call. And remember, he said today is the day. Why miss the opportunity? Let it be today. 855-684-3485. Thank you so much for spending time with us. Keep the questions coming. We love those too. Most importantly, be safe, be happy, be blessed, and we'll see you next week.